Hello students, myself Bhupinder Kaur, lecturer biology from Government Model Senior Secondary School 3B1 Mohali. Dear students, today we are going to start our 8th chapter, that is Human Health and Disease. Now first of all, what is meant by the term health? Dear students, health does not mean absence of disease or you are physically fit. WHO, that is World Health Organization, in the year 1948 has defined health as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely as absence of disease or infirmity. So WHO recognizes three dimensions of health, that is physical, social and mental. And what is disease? Disease is the malfunctioning of the body or part of it with specific symptoms. So dear students, today we are going to discuss some common human diseases which are caused by bacteria, viruses, worms, fungi, etc. So students, let us start the 8th chapter, Human Health and Disease. Our today's topic is common diseases in human. First of all, what is meant by health? Health can be defined as the state of body and mind which allows a person to function well physically, mentally and socially. So if an individual is physically, mentally and socially sound, then he is considered as a healthy person. Now, what are the various factors which affect the health? The health is affected by a number of factors. First is genetic disorders, which are present in an individual right at the time of birth. Second, infections, which are acquired after the birth of the child. And third is the lifestyle, which includes diet, rest, and exercise. Besides all these factors, drug and alcohol abuse, they also affect our health adversely. Now students, diseases, they are grouped into two categories, infectious or communicable and non-infectious or non-communicable diseases. Infectious diseases, they are easily transmitted from one person to another person. Therefore, they are also known as communicable diseases. Whereas non-infectious diseases or non-communicable diseases, they are not transmitted from person to another person. Students, cancer is a non-infectious disease which can cause the death of the individual. Now, what are pathogens? Pathogens are the biological agents which causes diseases. And they are usually microorganisms like bacteria, fungi and viruses. Now, these infectious diseases, they are grouped into different categories depending upon the type of biological agent. So if the biological agent, they are bacteria, then it is known as bacterial diseases. For example, pneumonia, plague, typhoid and diphtheria, they are caused by bacteria. Common cold and polio are caused by viruses. Amoebiasis and malaria, they are caused by protozoans. Ringworm and athlete's foot, they are caused by fungi. And ascariasis, filariasis and tiniasis, they are caused by helminths, that is worms. So students, today we are going to discuss various diseases, bacterial, viral, protozoans and helminthic one by one. So the first disease is typhoid, and these diseases, they are mentioned in our syllabus also. So the first disease is typhoid. Typhoid is a bacterial disease. It is caused by a bacteria Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi generally enter the small intestine through food and water which are contaminated with these bacteria, and via blood it will reach to other organs of the body. Now, what are the symptoms of typhoid? Symptoms of typhoid includes high fever, 39 to 40 degrees Celsius high fever, weakness, stomach pain, constipation, headache and loss of appetite.
So these are some common symptoms of typhoid. And in severe cases, small perforations they are formed in the wall of intestine which can cause the death of the individual. Dear students, typhoid fever is confirmed by a test which is known as Vidal test. So these are the symptoms of typhoid: high fever, headache, weakness, dry cough, stomach pain, constipation, and rashes formed on the skin. So these are some common symptoms of typhoid fever. Next है student disease pneumonia. Pneumonia is also a bacterial disease and it is caused by two bacteria, Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae. Both of these bacteria they are responsible for the disease pneumonia, which actually infect the alveoli of the lungs. Alveoli they are also known as miniature lungs. So these bacteria they attack or they infect the alveoli of the lungs. As a result of infection by these bacteria, the alveoli through which the gaseous exchange takes place, these alveoli they get filled with a fluid, so there will be no gases exchange and ultimately severe problems will come in the process of respiration. The symptoms of pneumonia includes fever, chills, cough and headache. In severe cases, the lips and fingernails they may turn grey to bluish in color. And how the infection spreads from one person to another person? The infection or the pneumonia spreads through droplet infection. When the droplets they are released by infected person when he's talking or he's sneezing or he's coughing, then these droplets they may get inhaled by healthy person. So in this way the infection spreads from an infected person to healthy person, and also by sharing glasses, utensils and other articles with infected person, the infection it may spread from one to another. So this is the picture where it has been shown that the alveoli, which are usually air-filled sacs and through which the gases exchange takes place, these alveoli at the time of pneumonia, they are filled with this fluid, and when they are filled with the fluid, then there will be no gases exchange. So ultimately problems will come in the process of respiration. Next disease has student common cold. Common cold is a viral disease and it is caused by rhinoviruses. So rhinoviruses they represent one such group of viruses which cause one of the most infectious human ailments, the common cold. And students, these rhinoviruses which causes common cold, they infect the nose and respiratory passage. The infection does not reaches up to the lungs. So infection जो है that is present in the passage only. They don't reach up to the respiratory organs. Symptoms क्या है student common cold के? Nasal congestion, discharge, sore throat, hoarseness, cough, headache and tiredness. And these symptoms they usually last for 3 to 7 days. And the infection or the common cold spreads through droplet infection. The droplets which are released during cough or sneezes of an infected person, they are either inhaled directly or transmitted through contaminated objects. So if we are sharing contaminated objects with infected person, then the infection or common cold it may spread from one person to another person. So the common cold it spreads by droplet infection and by sharing the contaminated articles. Next disease has student amoebiasis. Amoebiasis that is caused by a protozoan ant amoeba histolytica. This ant amoeba histolytica, this is a protozoan parasite and it lives in the large intestine of human, and there it causes the disease amoebiasis, which is also known by the name amoebic dysentery. Now student, this ant amoeba histolytica, this is a monogenetic. Why it is monogenetic? Because this is having a single host, and the host is we human beings. So we human beings, they are the host of this ant amoeba histolytica. So it is monogenetic, and it is having a single pseudopodia with the help of which it moves. Symptoms of the disease amoebiasis includes constipation, abdominal pain, cramps, and stools with excess mucus and blood clots. Now, how the infection spreads from person to person? By drinking water and food contaminated with the fecal matter of the infected person. Now, how the fecal matter of the infected person, it reaches to the food and water which we are drinking through these house flies. So ये जो हाउस फ्लाइज हैं स्टूडेंट्स, ये मैकेनिकल कैरियर्स हैं और ये पैरासाइट को ट्रांसमिट करती हैं फ्रॉम द फीसेस to the food and food products. So in this way, these food and food products, they will get contaminated, and if a person eats these contaminated food, then the amoebiasis infection, it may take place. So student, this is shown the life cycle of the ant amoeba histolytica. So when a person eats contaminated food or food products, then the cyst of ant amoeba histolytica, that is ingested by us, and these cysts, they ultimately reaches to the intestine part, and when they reaches to the intestine part, then there they releases a proteolytic enzyme which is known as cytolysin. Cytolysin, and this proteolytic enzyme cytolysin, it will starts eroding the wall of the intestine. So this may form bleeding ulcers that produce dysentery, and in this disease the patient will start passing out blood and mucus with the stool, and ultimately these parasites, they will invade to other organs like to the liver and to the lungs, and if they reaches to other body organs, then it may prove fatal and it may cause the death of the individual. Next disease has student malaria. Malaria is also caused by a protozoa, that is plasmodium, and the plasmodium, it is digenetic, whereas ant amoeba histolytica, it is monogenetic. Plasmodium, it is digenetic. It means it completes its life cycle in two hosts. First is human being, and second is the female Anopheles mosquito. In human beings, the asexual phase of the plasmodium is covered, whereas in the mosquitoes, the sexual phase of the plasmodium is covered. So the mosquito, it is the primary host, because in mosquito, in female Anopheles mosquito, the plasmodium, it covers its sexual phase, whereas we human beings are the secondary host of plasmodium. And these female Anopheles mosquito, they also act as vector, because they spread the disease from one person to another person. Now students, there are different species of plasmodium which are responsible for different types of malaria. For example, plasmodium vivax and plasmodium ovale, they causes tertian malaria, because in this case, in this tertian malaria, the fever or the attack, it occurs after every third day, whereas in case of plasmodium malaria, which causes quartan malaria, the attack, it occurs after the attack occurs every fourth day. And out of all these, the malignant malaria that is caused by Plasmodium falciparum, and this is the most serious one, and it can even be fatal because Plasmodium falciparum it attacks daily. So these are the different species of Plasmodium which are causing different types of malaria. So this is shown the life cycle of the Plasmodium. The life cycle of the Plasmodium is actually divided into three phases. First is the asexual phase, which is taking place in we human beings, and this is known as schizogony. The second is the sexual phase, which starts in human beings and is completed in the mosquito. This is known as gamogony. And the third is again the asexual phase, which is completed in mosquito. This is known as a sporogony. So the life cycle of the Plasmodium is divided into three phases. First is the asexual phase, which is taking place in we human beings, that is the schizogony. Second is the sexual phase, which is started in human beings and is completed in the mosquito, that is the gamogony. And the third is again the asexual phase, which is completing in mosquito, this is the sporogony. Now the infective stage of the Plasmodium for we human beings is the sporozoite stage. So let us do the life cycle of malarial parasite. The malarial parasite requires two hosts, human and female Anopheles mosquito. The life cycle of Plasmodium starts with injecting the sporozoites through the bite of the infected female Anopheles mosquito. When the female Anopheles mosquito bites, then the sporozoite stage it enters in our body. And this parasite initially completes its life cycle within the liver cells and then it enters into the RBC. When it enters into the RBC, then it will change the hemoglobin present in RBC into hemozoin crystal, and these hemozoin crystals they are toxic substance. So when the RBC they are ruptured, these hemozoin crystals they are released, which is responsible for the chill and high fever. And from the infected human, the parasite enters into the body of the Anopheles mosquito during biting and sucking blood, and further development it will take place within the mosquito's body. So the female mosquito, when it is biting, then it is sucking the gametocytes from the blood meal. So within the body of the mosquito, formation of gametes and fertilization of gametes will take place and the zygote will form, and this zygote will again undergo multiple fission to form a number of sporozoites, and these sporozoites they will ultimately migrated within the salivary glands of the mosquito, and when the mosquito bites another human, sporozoites they are injected. So in this way the life cycle of the Plasmodium it continues. So this was all about the life cycle of the Plasmodium. Now students, the next disease is Ascariasis, and Ascariasis that is caused by a nematode Ascaris. Symptoms of this disease includes internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia and blockage of the intestinal passage. The eggs of the parasites they are excreted along with the feces of infected person, which contaminate the soil, water and the plants. So a healthy person is acquiring this infection through contaminated water, vegetables and fruits, और especially ये infection students बच्चों के अंदर देखा जाता है which have a habit of soil eating, because this soil is contaminated with the eggs of this parasite. So if a child eats soil, then ultimately this eggs they are ingested, which will cause the disease Ascariasis. Now student, next disease है filariasis, and this is also caused by a worm Wuchereria bancrofti and Wuchereria melai, the filarial worms. And these filarial worms they live in the lymphatic vessels and the lymphatic glands of human beings. And there they slowly develop chronic inflammation of the organs because they live within these organs for many years. So they will when they get accumulated uh, within these organs, then they will cause blocking of the lymphatic vessels. और students जब lymphatic vessels जो है उनकी blocking हो जाती है तो ultimately lymph जो है it will get collected and this will cause enormous swelling of the affected part. स्पेशली अगर लोअर लिम्स में lymphatic vessels की blocking lymphatic vessels जो हैं they are blocked by these worms, then there will be enormous swelling of the lower limb. So this is followed by thickening of the skin and subcutaneous tissue and enlargement of the legs gives the disease its name elephantiasis. जो legs का size है student, it reaches up to the size of the legs of elephant because of the size and also because of the thickening of the skin and the subcutaneous tissue. The genital organs, they are also affected. They will get deformed and the pathogens they are transmitted to a healthy person through the bite of female culex mosquito. So the infection spreads from person to person through the bite of female culex mosquito. So these are the symptoms of the disease elephantiasis. You can see in the figure that the size of the leg it becomes very large due to the enormous swelling because these filarial worms they get blocked within the lymphatic vessels and there they are responsible for the swelling of the affected part. Now student, the last disease is ringworm and this ringworm that is caused by fungi which belongs to the genera Microsporum, Trichophyton and Epidermophyton. And they are one of the most common infectious diseases in man. बहुत ज़्यादा infectious diseases होती हैं student. Fungal diseases, they are very infectious diseases. Now what are the symptoms of ringworm? Dry scaly lesions on various parts of the body like skin, nails and scalp. These are the common symptoms of the disease. And these lesions they are accompanied by intense itching. Lesions formed to हुए हैं but there are intense itching in these lesions. We all know students that fungi for its growth need heat and moisture. So the infection spreads within the skin folds such as those in the groin or between the toes which are usually wet. So we must keep these areas totally dry ताकि यहाँ पे fungi grow ना हो सके और infection को control किया जा सके. Ringworms जो हैं they are generally acquired from soil and by using towels, clothes or even the comb of the infected individual. So ringworm that is highly infectious, so we must not share these articles with the infected person so as to control the infection of the ringworm. So students, these are the symptoms of ringworm. Dry and scaly lesions, they are formed on scalp, on skin and between the toes. Now the last topic is how to control these infectious diseases. First, maintenance of personal and public hygiene. Very much required for controlling the infectious diseases. Personal hygiene includes consumption of clean drinking water, food, vegetables, fruits and keeping the body clean. We must keep our body clean in order to control the infectious diseases. Besides personal hygiene, public hygiene is also needed. In public hygiene, there should be proper disposal of waste and excreta. There should be periodic cleaning of water reservoirs and pools because इन वाटर रिजर्वायर्स और पूल्स में मॉस्किटोज जो हैं इनकी ब्रीडिंग होती है. We should avoid close contact with the infected person because these diseases, they are highly infectious, they very easily spread from person to person. So close contact with the infected persons, it must be avoided. For vector borne diseases which are caused by these mosquitoes, we should control these vectors and their breeding places. For this, stagnation of water should be avoided in and around the residential areas. We must use the mosquitoes net or mosquitoes repellents. Windows and doors, they must be fitted with wire mesh so that these mosquitoes, they cannot enter into our house. And all these precautions, they are useful for vector borne diseases like dengue, chikungunya, malaria and filariasis or elephantiasis. So student, this was all about the prevention and control of infectious diseases. So students, today we discussed about very important bacterial and viral diseases like typhoid, pneumonia, common cold, amoebiasis, malaria, ascariasis, and so on. So students, I think that you all must be knowing what are the causal organisms which are causing these diseases, what are the symptoms, and how we can control these infectious diseases. All these things, they are very important. I hope ये topic जो है वो बहुत clearly तुम सबको समझ आया होगा. Next, in my next video, we will be doing the topic immunity. Till then, students, thank you.